Julius Caesar. Here's Caesar's Forum. So we're starting to get into the very, very famous story of the Triumvirate and Pompey, Crassus, Julius Caesar, and the beginnings of empire. So, this temple was built by Julius Caesar himself. There's the ruins of it. It's called the Temple of Venus Gentrix. His favorite goddess, Venus. And he believed that his family was descended from Venus. Pretty cool, right? Gives yourself some credibility. Goddess. He did become a man god later. Venus Gentrix. So Julius Caesar was one part of something called the Triumvirate. So three powerful men. Really, Caesar had a bunch of debts, and he needed a lot of money to pay off his debts. So he teamed up with this guy named Crassus, who was super rich, one of the richest people in the whole empire. And they also took the young, brilliant General Pompey into the fold. The three powerful men. Okay, so here we are at Caesar's Forum. This wasn't quite yet built, but let's talk about this famous story. Caesar was a businessman, orator, general, leader. He kind of conned his way into a lot of his power and wealth and all kinds of stuff, but he was also a general. Brilliant military tactician, Julius Caesar. He conquered all kinds of places. He conquered all of modern day France, which was called Gaul at the time. The whole entire area. Impossible task. Fearsome people that lived there, the Gauls. And he went in there and did it in like a couple decades or less, a couple years. He had huge triumphs for doing this. He also went to play, he even attacked Britain, but he was the first to go into the island of Britain, setting up what would later become Britannia. And London, cities like London, Paris came out from these places that he was making the Roman Empire, basically. He went into Germany, several battles into Germany, deep into Germany. I'm talking like deep into the Black Forest. Julius Caesar took legions against the barbarians, Germanic tribes that were the cold weather. He was very successful up there as well, and the Germanic people that gave Romans all kinds of problems. So there was a civil war, though, that he really earned his fame in. So Pompey, the rival general, had many people on his side from the Senate, and he wanted to take on Julius Caesar and get his own power and respect. Even though they were friends, longtime friends, and respected each other, they had a horrible and brutal civil war where Romans were killing Romans, and it was just crazy. Pompey versus Caesar. So Caesar placated the wealthy Crassus. He was just a rich guy anyways. He didn't really have much power. He just was the richest guy in the empire, part of the Triumvirate. And he took out Pompey the Great. Okay, wait. I oversimplified this way too much. So Caesar was up in areas like modern day France, Spain, Britain, Germany through this whole time, and Pompey was in Rome. So Pompey, seeing that Caesar was gaining a lot of power and popularity, and he had loyal legions with him, wanted power to himself with his side. So he declared Caesar an enemy of the state. And Caesar heard about this and started marching south towards Rome to try to make peace with his old friend Pompey. And the war actually started when up in northern Italy, in a place called Ravenna, Caesar took his legions across the river Rubicon, a famous event passing over the Rubicon. So this officially started the war, and Caesar was headed towards Rome to meet Pompey, and Pompey mistakenly, in hindsight, left Rome. He vacated Rome and headed out east, where he had a lot of supporters in modern day Greece and Turkey. So Caesar was able to kind of chase off
the remaining forces, and he entered Rome and declared himself real powerful there. You know, he got a bunch of money from doing that, you know, got a bunch of support. He was super popular, a populist, and Pompey headed off east to Greece area where he stayed. But he sent a bunch of generals and legions, which he had all over the place, to fight against Caesar's forces, like in modern day Marseille, France, and another place in Spain. And Caesar was involved in some of these battles, but some he wasn't. Anyways, long story short, Caesar was gaining the upper hand. There were some battles in Egypt. People were changing sides. There was people like Cato and Mark Antony and a bunch of other famous names involved too. Down in southern Italy near Bari, Puligia area, Caesar ended up with his legions, and he was going to head east. And there was a bunch of navies involved too. Boats were being constructed, naval battles sometimes, and blockades. It was a really crazy war. So he headed out east, and Pompey and Caesar, personally leading as generals, finally met in present-day Albania, which was a huge battle, and a bunch of crazy stuff happened around the city of Dyrrhachium, which is now Duriz, Albania, which I've been, actually. And Caesar actually lost that battle. And Pompey headed south to an area in Greece, but Caesar regrouped, and they headed south and defeated Pompey's forces down in Greece, and Pompey escaped to Egypt, where the story picks up. That's those wars.
Took out Pompey the Great, who ended up getting killed in Egypt. The people in Egypt thought they were make Caesar happy by killing Pompey on the shores of Alexandria, but that's actually not what he wanted. He chased them all the way down in the Mediterranean. He actually had all the people that killed Pompey executed because it was his old friend. And, okay, that's a whole nother story. So Caesar won. He was the most powerful in Rome after all this craziness. And Caesar next, by building this forum here. This was his own temple that he built right here. This is the exact thing. This is Caesar's forum for himself. The regular Roman forum is down there a little ways, so he had this built. A lot of people were, you know, it was still a republic. It was supposed to be a democracy. People were getting real sketched out by this. They didn't want a dictator. They didn't want a king. There were strict laws in Rome. I forgot to say this much earlier in the video about not having a king anymore for, you know, up to almost 1,000 years. They were like that, 700 years. So Julius Caesar had some grand plans. The entire world's history would be changed if this would have came to fruition. So Caesar had these plans to take his ferocious, super successful armies in a pincher move up from the Black Sea, through modern day Ukraine, through modern day Poland. It's obviously way before these places existed, and into Germany. And he was planning to annex all of that territory, all the way in all of Germania. The German language may have never existed if that happened, which in part means the English language would have never existed. The entirety of Germany would have spoken Latin, just like other places in the empire. The whole entire course of the world would have changed if that happened. He was about to leave, Julius Caesar, for this move. And I think he could have done it after all his military battles and his strength, his tactics. The Germans were intense, but I think Caesar could have done it. I think he could have. So he was basically a dictator, and he built this forum for himself and had a grand palace and everything. And he was in the city, and the people, especially the Senate, were fearful of all this power. The Senate building is down there a little way. So think about this. Caesar is building his own forum, and the Senate is right around the block. He's just like spitting in their face to show his power, pretty much. So they started getting really nervous, the Senate, and they wanted the Republic back instead of this form of dictatorship that was going on. And a lot of people conspired, and super famously on the Ides of March in a theater not far from here, I think it's over there somewhere, Marcellus's theater. He said, he woke up and Caesar said, okay, I want, before I go off on my mission into Germany and the Black Sea, I want to meet with the Senate and, placate them and make them happy, and I'll meet with them, fine. Should have never went. Okay, welcome to the 61 BC built first theater of Rome, that large one, the Theater of Pompeii. Pompey the Great, the general, funded the building of this. He was a friend and then foe of Julius Caesar. Ended up dying in Egypt. Now it's a square, so the elements of the theater were built into this modern facade. Well, what's most important for our history video is the Senate was meeting here, 44 BC, and Julius Caesar, before leaving on his mission with the legions through modern day Ukraine and Poland to conquer all of Germany, the Germanic tribes, he went to meet the Senate. And the Senate was meeting here at the theater. It was a big capacity. It was a huge area. It was huge. That was the wall of it. That apartment building. Think about that. The Ides of March. Forget exactly what day that is. March 13th or something. March 7th. Check the comments. Okay, so Julius Caesar. Oh, fine. I'll meet with the Senate. They kind of hate me anyways because I'm gaining too much power. Fine. I'll meet them. And he came. Was going to speak, was sitting in the middle of the crowd, and what happened next? Several senators stabbed him many times. They were talking with him, and bam! Several people, tons of stab wounds to the body. And he was like, what are you doing? Why are you doing this to me? I'm helping Rome. What is happening? And then he saw his brother-in-law stabbed him. And after he saw that, he totally gave up hope. So this shows a little bit of the theater size here, where it was. It was kind of like a semicircular shape. And it's really crazy. It's chilling, actually. This is the spot. See, this hotel is named after it. I guess there's some ruins in there that you can see, but you can't see it. This spot is where that world-changing event happened. The entire world was changed. If a time traveler went back in time, stopped that assassination, who knows? Germany would have never developed a German language. English would have never been created. The entire course of human history, the rest of Roman history, there might have never been an empire. It would have been a little bit different. Who knows what could have happened? Julius Caesar could have ended up conquering almost all of the Eastern Hemisphere, something crazy like that. Ended up going to China. Who knows what could have happened? But I really think that this is maybe the top 5 world-changing moments in all of the history of time. Because after his assassination, the empire started and it backfired on the conspirators. And the Roman Empire influenced so much of our daily life, and it's blowing my mind that I'm standing in this spot. Theater. Check out this area. This part's cool in here. So this is, some modern brick probably built on top of it, but the Roman bricks, always 2 fingers long. So this 2,100 years old or so. Upgraded to a hotel. You can see some bricks right up there too. You can see some bricks right there too. All right, well, this is the spot where Julius Caesar was assassinated. And these steps look old. You know how you could tell? There's little divots from so many feet walking down it. Oh, goose, doggy. Who knows if Christianity would have ever happened if Julius Caesar didn't get assassinated. That's crazy to think about, huh? There's a theater shape. It's weird how kept the shape, but nothing's left. I talked about it already, but I'm here again. This is the 46 BC Temple of Venus Gentrix, Julius Caesar's favorite goddess. He built this forum. This is Caesar's own personal forum when he started getting real famous and rich in the 40s BC or 50s BC, 46 BC, after defeating all his enemies and becoming pretty much dictator of Rome. And he said he was descendant of Venus, his family. So this was his favorite goddess. He had his own personal temple right there. That's all that's left of it. We're right in the center of Rome. This is Caesar's forum. Several other emperors would create their own forums over there later. This has just been a really long day. Stick with me. I'm doing this history. Can you see me in there? But the move backfired on the Senate. The people of Rome loved Caesar. He did so much for the city, so many riches, so many jobs. The army loved him. The legions loved Caesar. So their move backfired. The conspiracy did not work. They praised him as a god afterwards, Julius Caesar. They built a temple for him in the forum that we just looked at earlier. This forever changed Rome. So the Senate, the members of the conspiracy were convicted and most of them were executed. And then there was a big struggle for who was next.